All right. Hey, Michael, appreciate you joining today. Really looking forward to having this conversation and obviously appreciate you, being willing to give us a testimonial here. Tell us the company that you've started recently and how you heard about us here at Phone Ready Leads.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Justin. So Hinckley Medical is solving the pre-hospital dosing problem. So what we've done is identified that in the pre-hospital setting, paramedics are guessing patient weights, scrambling to find the calculations and do those calculations. And there's a lot of cognitive effort that's required. And in that cognitive effort, errors can happen. And so what we've done is developed the first ever patient scale for ambulance gurney to address that first problem. So we get accurate patient weights in the pre-hospital setting now. And step two is we pair it with a software app on your phone. It manages all your medical protocols that are set by your existing department. And then you're able to track and manage your treatment from start to finish, all in there. I'm one of the co-founders. I've got two business partners as well that I joined up with after they had kind of kicked things off and got an MVP going. And over the last 2 years or year and a half, we've really kicked off a go-to-market. The first year was a lot of learning and trials. And then recently we've really ramped up on, we're very confident in our product now. And so we're ramping up sales efforts, trying to generate more leads, more demos, and just get in front of people and show them, why this is so revolutionary for the industry and why we can really help. And then I found out about Phone Ready Leads because I had talked with another founder that I'm in network with who was using you guys. And I was complaining about how poor the cold calling was going for me and asking about SDRs and, are you outsourcing SDRs and these things? And he's like, well, I am, but I'm not sure I'm going to continue with them because I found this Phone Ready Leads thing. And in, X amount of dials and X amount of time, I can get just as many demos as they can get in months. And so I was like, you're kidding. So of course I look into it. And that's how I got connected with you guys.
It's incredible, man. It's so powerful, especially as founders. I mean, you're wearing tons of hats and juggling many different things, right?
Yeah.
So when you want to go do a task, it needs to be as efficient as possible so you can maximize all your time. It sounds like that was the biggest problem you were looking to solve was potentially time. What was your roughly what was your experience with cold calling before Phone Ready Leads, and then obviously after Phone Ready Leads or with Phone Ready Leads?
So before Phone Ready Leads, the biggest challenges were, blocking out time and then being confident that that time would be worth it. And so that's a big challenge for people who are afraid to pick up the phone is, if you're not using a system like Phone Ready Leads, you're going to make 50 dials and maybe not have any success at all. And so picking up the phone was not something I was excited about. Yeah. Now with Phone Ready Leads, it's exciting because you're going to get in touch with someone, and most conversations are leading to good outcomes. We've got my dial to connect on the first pilot was just over 50%, I believe, and then demo conversion on those conversations was, I believe, higher than 50% or just above 50% as well. So having a lot more conversations and a lot more successful conversations. And then you had mentioned, as founders, time is obviously really key because we're wearing a lot of hats. We're also all three technical founders on our team. And so we're all engineers with no sales experience or background. And, with a little bit of material that you guys provided, I was able to completely transform the way that I was talking to customers on a cold call. It's so much more it's so much better received because it's not a pitch slap, and we've talked about that already. I was always coming in to pitch slap. People don't like that, and they're more likely to hang up or not take a demo. But walking them into a conversation and getting their permission to to go on and continue has been a big thing that's I think has led to the success I've had.
Yeah, 100%, man. And everybody always says, appreciate you putting together the script, or appreciate you helping me out. But at the end of the day, it's always the person that's still got to show up and do the work. We can give everyone all the tools in the world, but if they won't sit down, do the dials, and actually go through that, they're not going to have success. It's not a silver bullet. It's not magic in any way, right? So most people say cold calling is dead because no one picks up the phone. Other people also say cold calling is dead, or Ryan's been promoting cold calling is dead because nobody's working with Justin to get scripts built. So, the pilot makes it really easy for people that we run, makes it really easy for people to see, how it really works. There's always skepticism. There always is. Sure, you had some as well, right? But the pilot really allows people to see, in a couple of days, what it's like to work with us and make sure that it's a good partnership for what they're looking to achieve. When did you know that, like, hey, okay, this makes a lot of sense and this is the right choice?
For me, it was actually the time that we were on the phone and you made the first calls. And so you took my script the week before and you took my data. And then of course it was the follow-up call where we went through the new script and we went through the process of just call these numbers, call these P1s. And when I watched you on 5 dials, book 1 demo and have 2 conversations, I was like, this is unbelievable. And then instantly got, I was so excited, it was a Friday, so I had a little bit of extra time in the afternoon. And I think that afternoon booked 6 demos. And so, in 60 minutes, I was able to book 6 demos compared to, days in the past where I was before Phone Ready Leads.
Yeah. And I say it's abnormal, like the results you're having, but you're literally out here saving lives. Most of us are pushing a SaaS product that's a nice to have, not a real need. And like, you're literally out here saving lives. So I knew looking at your script and your product that this was going to be probably what we call stomping beer cans. This was going to be a no-brainer campaign, right? And it was a lot of fun being able to, do that live with you as well and show you, what it looks like to use the script, because reading a script and, mirror neurons picking up on how to use that script is obviously really helpful. What would you say to someone that's on the fence of like trying this out or signing up, whether they are a founder or, maybe running a sales team?
I would say it's a no-brainer to make the investment. I've already told at least 5-10 people that are in sales, SDRs or BDRs, who make calls about what I'm doing and the success that I'm having. And everyone's like, I'll look into it and excited about it. Even bringing it up to their supervisors and saying, hey, my buddy's had success using this. Here's my dial to connect. Here's his. Let's maybe try this out. Mm-hmm. And so, if you're on the fence, I would say at least get in touch with Justin and start a pilot. It's worth at least your time to give him a shot. And then he knows as well as I that you're going to continue going with them because you won't be disappointed.
Yeah. So you said you're part of an incubator, right? You're doing, a founder-led networking group. I'm sure there's a lot of discussion about go-to-market strategies and things like that, ramp times, time frames. You've probably talked to marketing groups that talk about, give us 2-3 months to get a campaign spun up before you'll see results, and then with us, it's like, hey, start today, results tomorrow, right? Yeah. Did you think achieving something like this was possible in this time frame before working with us?
No, honestly, the fact that I've had 17 demos scheduled in the last 3 weeks, and I'd have more because, if I could take the demos and make the calls, we'd have more demos set up. It's unbelievable, really. And what's extremely exciting for us is we're actively raising with angel investors and VC funds. And to be able to show them month on month progress instead of quarterly and stuff, it's huge. To show them growth and traction in just the last 2 months is really valuable when raising money. And so that's been really successful.
That's awesome, man. Congrats on that. We always talk about averages, right? Everybody looks at like, your average dial to connect rate, these averages, and averages happen in large numbers. And you said, you booked 17 demos in the past couple of weeks, and you had an issue with like your average show rate dropping, right? Can you tell us a little bit about, that, the concerns you had, and then, how we help navigate that with you?
Yeah. So before Phone Ready Leads, I was doing all the pre-qualifications for my leads. And there was some benefit to that where I knew everyone I was calling was someone that I really wanted to have a conversation with. Going to a bigger list where it's maybe, less advantageous to go through every single one. I think that not having pre-qualified maybe had some effect in the no-shows, but I talked with, you and Ryan about it, and you just said, you're having way more demos. Maybe this is just a law of numbers. And then you also mentioned, you just got to pick up the phone and call them if they don't show up. And so I've been doing that and following the material that you sent on the follow-ups. It's really successful, and it's really simple. If you do have someone that's not showing up within a few minutes of the call, I've just been able to typically get them on the phone, and within 5 minutes of that call start time, they're already on the call. A lot of people are busy, and fitting cold call demos into their schedule is a challenge. And so I think it wasn't necessarily, anything in particular. I think it was kind of like Ryan said, more just higher volume. You're going to have more people not show up to the meetings, especially if you're not pre-qualifying. But pre-qualifying leads to the extent that I was doing wasn't worth my time. And I'm finding that out very quickly. And so, I know who I'm calling, and I know that it's a lead. Whether it's the best lead ever doesn't really matter anymore. It's just getting people on the phone, getting demos, and the size of the call or the size of the potential client doesn't really matter when you're dealing with high volume.
Yeah, man, that's going to be a powerful segment to chop out right there. I can't wait to use that. That's awesome, man. Yeah, great stuff. The last thing really that I want you to share. You briefly told us about a story after your first session. You got kind of high on the PRLs. Everybody talks about it being the sales crack. Can you tell us your road trip story with your co-founder?
Yeah. So it was the week after getting the pilot list. I was traveling, so thought it maybe be a little more difficult to make calls while on the road. Well, I had our CEO sitting next to me in the car, and I was driving, and I was like, you have to see what this Phone Ready Leads thing is like. And he hadn't gotten a taste of it yet. And so it was a good experiment. And so, I could kind of show off a little bit too, even though it's a process, right? Well, we're driving down, from Minneapolis to Chicago, and he's just giving me numbers and plugging them in, and I'm on the phone with the script, and we were able to book 2 demos in the first 4 calls, and it was unbelievable. And just to see our CEO be as excited about that as me, who's leading our sales efforts, was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and he was juggling the calendar and the phone, and you were writing the script in the conversation.
Exactly. So we delegated it, and we were pretty efficient and safe, of course.
Of course, yeah, absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, super powerful story, I guess. Is there any area of improvement that potentially you see, through the pilot or through the engagements with us where, we could take and maybe serve someone like yourself or someone else that's running a team maybe a little bit better next go around?
That's a great question. Let me sit on it for a few seconds.
They'll edit it out, so don't worry about time.
Yeah.
Chop it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you guys have a sales process down. Like you guys pretty much have it locked in. Stage one, okay, let's do this intro call and make sure that he's actually gonna be interested in what we're doing, and then let's show them. Which I think that's probably the most powerful thing. And I mentioned that earlier in this call, is the fact that you guys show people that it works. I mean, I'm sure you hear that all the time. Am I right on that?
Yeah, the reason we do that, we used to just pass off the data. And the reason we want to control as many variables as possible early on. And we realized that there are a couple of variables that we really can't control once we pass it off. One being the technology that they're using. So if they're using spam numbers or calling from, burn phone numbers, or a system where they're not using local ID or random presence or something, like we can't control the connect rate because they're calling from a spam number. People that watch their phone are less likely to pick up a spam number, right? So that's one variable. The other variable is the rep, right? Leadership a lot of times thinks that reps want more calls. Of course, leadership wants more calls, right? They want more pipeline, but they think reps do, and some do and some don't, right? So they would do different things to sabotage. So we used to set up a dialer for them so we could watch everything. We could literally monitor everything, and they'd be like, oh, it didn't work. And you go in and look at the call log, and the rep talked to 3 people back to back and then skip the next 27. Like just skip, So we do it like this now, so we don't have to build an account for everyone and teach them how to use a new platform. Hey, go put it in your environment. When I pass this list to you, there's going to be 2 things that change. 1 is your rep and 2 is your technology. If you don't see a 15, 20, 30% connect rate, it's either you're calling from spam numbers or your rep's doing something weird. So it's just a way to control, as many variables as possible.
Yeah. No, and honestly, I don't know if there's much more that I would have asked from you guys to make this process as smooth as it went. I think you guys have it down. And for me, it took 2 Zoom calls with you guys, and just the initial pilot agreement. So that was pretty easy to get up and running, and excited to send you guys more data.
Yeah. Any other comments, feedback for the team?
No. Awesome job. And I like the content you guys provide on socials. I'm following you guys on LinkedIn, and I think you guys provide a lot of value to the target audience that is making these calls or working through the sales process directly. So that's also something I think you guys, customers, benefit from, is that continually seeing it in your feed and seeing you guys put this system to work, not just in one application but in all different industries. I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, it is, because people think it's industry specific, and I think we're running 5 or 6 different campaigns right now in like 3 different verticals, and we're averaging like a 38% connect rate, 60% completion rate, 10 to 15%, meeting schedule rate, like across all the, it's the same. Yeah. So, there's threshold. It's doing the basics over and over and over again. It's not sexy work a lot of times, but doing the basics, the boring work consistently at scale with accuracy is what we do really, really well.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, man, excited for your journey at Hinckley Medical. Your potential investors are obviously going to want to see that you have a sales leg that can stand, and you've got a repeatable process. So it sounds like you're on the right journey, and I look forward to seeing your successes and potentially working together more.
All right. Thanks a lot, Justin. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you.